Appropriately called Who's Last, the double album charts the band's farewell 1982 tour of America and Canada. And there it is inside. And it really is quite an album by the looks of it. So after 20 years of being one of the world's leading live bands, how does it feel to the famous four to know it's the end of an era? Well, our reporter Jonathan Holmes has been talking to the group who, along with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, created a legend that revolutionised the very structure of 60s society with their music.
The Who burst onto the music scene in the mid-60s with songs that became anthems for the youth of that generation. Almost a generation on, it's all over, and the rebellious, wild young men of rock, now approaching their 40s, have released their final album, leaving behind their days of smashing up their drum kits and guitars. For Pete Townshend, it was a creative time.
For the first, couple of years, 65, 66, when we were concentrating on singles and working in the UK, and when really we did our most innovative work, I think. And when I was discovering the art of writing, that was incredibly exciting.
When you look at early footage and clippings of yourself, what actually goes through your head?
I always think, why do I look so ill? And I think, why do I still look so ill? It's strange having so much film of yourself as a young person. You think, God, who is that person? I actually find it quite sad sometimes that I gave myself so much grief. I wonder why I wasn't able to get more fun out of what is essentially a very enjoyable business, the rock business. And I did take it very, very seriously. But when I look back, I see that seriousness and that intensity, that belief that maybe that rock was actually going to change society.
Bass guitarist John Entwistle was reluctantly labelled the quiet one, because someone had to carry on playing while the rest of the band destroyed all around him.
Well, the really early years were just a continual struggle. I suppose there's very little money around in those days. It's all been spent on clothes and guitars. And none of us were unbelievably rich until, I suppose, around about Tommy. And then we actually started making more money than we were spending.
Yeah.
Up to then, we were about $250,000 in debt. When we first started, we were very arrogant. We knew that we were the best live band around, and it gave us kind of arrogance. And then I was surprised it lasted so long, actually, because we've never been the kind of band that sold an unbelievable amount of records. But the live shows were always good, and I think that's what actually made The Who as big as they were, with the actual live performances.
The Who's frontman and lead singer, Roger Daltrey, has made his break from singing and now established in the acting world, plans to do as well in that profession as he did with The Who.
After singing Townshend's lyrics for 20 years, and to me, he's one of the best writers ever in rock. The way his use of the language. It's very difficult to find another writer that satisfies me. I find it too easy. It doesn't stretch, doesn't push. I don't have to pull my hair out over most other writers. And that's what I miss.
When
like The Who, Fault, it's a lonely feeling when a band breaks up. It is. I mean, even though we can still see each other and, visit each other and probably work together, it's that teammanship that you miss.
For me, I feel that I am complete now. I've been able to look back at 20 years and say I am proud of what The Who did. I am proud of being a part of the English 60s music. I'm proud of being a man who has come through that business and has got two teenage daughters that are growing up successfully. I'm still married to the same woman. I'm happy. I love me mum and me dad. I've got some money in the bank and I've got a good job.
It's about
there's-
time I got a real job.
Roger Daltrey. And who was that singer in the first bit of film we saw?
Oh, that was my sister.
Was it a bit of a shock to see yourself 20 years ago?
I've got 3 kids, and it's great. I'm really proud of it. That
And-
you can actually come through it and survive it.
Yeah, and your attitude to life presumably must be very, very different from what it was when you started. I mean, you must have been a sort of had an
not
arrogance
really.
about you then.
Not really. I mean, I like living dangerously. I like taking chances. That's the great thing about the stage, that especially the rock and roll stage, that a lot of people don't understand. It is dangerous, and it becomes like a drug when you're living that close to the edge all the time. It's addictive.
What do you mean exactly when you say close to the edge?
Well, you never know. Rock and roll is great when it's unpredictable, when you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's what I mean by close to the edge. When in the early days when we used to go out there and smash the gear up, blow things up, it'd be total pandemonium. You never knew what would happen next, and it was, God, it was great.
Sadly, a lot of people who didn't take much notice of your music, and there's bound to be a generation that probably wasn't your music, will just remember
There's
you.
one now.
But there'll be a generation that regard you as a load of louts who went around the stage smashing up very expensive equipment.
Yeah, well, at least it was a protest against material. I mean, basically, it was a protest against material things that we felt. I mean, the guitars then used to cost like £400 each, which is ridiculous. It's a plank of wood with 6 strings, you know.
Yeah.
And I've made
you used to
guitars.
smash them up.
Well, that's right, because it showed the value of it. It's nothing. It's
Yeah, but there were people like me. I was playing in a group then. Always had to borrow an electric guitar.
Yeah,
I
but
always
we went
desperately
through.
wanted
That's
one. I could
right. We
never
went
afford
through
one.
that
You were
too.
smashing them up.
That's
every
right. We went
night.
exactly through that too, where you're struggle, making all your first instruments, and as soon as you get any success at all, people were giving them to you.
Mm-hmm.
And say, "Oh, thank you very much," because it doesn't mean anything then, you know. It's when you're struggling and you need it, no one gives you anything.
Yeah. Actually, it's a very interesting point.
But it was great. It was great days.
Yeah. Rog, thanks a lot. We'll take a break.